The Dallas Mavericks picked up the number one seed in the draft lottery last night. The Dallas Mavericks, who traded away Luka Doncic to the Los Angeles Lakers, and somehow I think they had the worst chance of winning the draft lottery, maybe a 1.8% chance, and they won the draft lottery last night, and now they have the right to draft Cooper Flagg, the National College Basketball Player of the Year from Duke. And so they're going to go from Dirk Nowitzki to Luka Doncic to now Cooper Flagg. What a coincidence. Is this whole thing rigged or what? I want to ask Jay Skapinac that question. Jay Skapinac, welcome back to the show. And then there'll be a secondary question, Jay, about who would you rather be, the Lakers with Luka Doncic and 41, 42-year-old LeBron James, or the Dallas Mavericks with Cooper Flagg, Anthony Davis, and Kyrie Irving? But first, was the draft lottery, was it rigged?
Well, Jason, thanks for having me. Always a pleasure to be here with you, and great to see you. Look, I am actually pretty reluctant to give in to these conspiracy theorists. Actually, you and I were talking when I was in Nashville a few weeks ago off camera about, just some of the optics not being right, not lining up with that Luka Doncic trade back in February, right around the trade deadline. And look, it unequivocally shocked the world. It shocked the basketball world, shocked the sports world as a whole. I've been thinking about that trade event, Luka Doncic being traded to the LA Lakers, and I would actually describe it as the single most shocking off-court moment in sports, in basketball history, in the NBA's history. And it never really made sense. You and others have been speculating that ownership had some kind of a back alley deal with Silver to move them to Vegas potentially. But to me, that didn't even make sense. Wouldn't you want a 25-year-old transcendent, five-time consecutive first-team All-NBA selection in Luka Doncic, finished third in MVP last year, took your franchise to the NBA Finals? Wouldn't you want that guy to help sell tickets and to build your franchise in Vegas if that were, in fact, the deal? I understood the other side of the equation, though, Jason. Let's get Luka to LA, to a big market, to help LeBron get to a lengthy playoff run this year, to, keep the ratings high with the Lakers in the playoffs as long as possible. That all made sense to me. What never really added up, even with the Vegas hypothesis floating around there, was Dallas's end of the deal. Like, it just didn't make sense. Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and one single first-round pick. It was a ludicrous trade. They didn't even shop him on the open market. They could have got tenfold what they got in this Laker deal. But finally, last night, the other shoe dropped, and now it all does make sense. And now I'm buying in. I'm all in on this conspiracy theory, all in. Because you're going to tell me that the Dallas Mavericks, after perpetrating that absurd, outlandish trade, just matter-of-factly somehow, with a 1.8% chance, wins the draft lottery this year when it just so happens to have one of probably the 3 or 4 top recruits of this century coming into the draft. It's just, there's too much damn smoke, Jason. There is a raging inferno somewhere right now, and this should just point back to the league offices. This is a dark, dark day in my estimation, because they have undeniably rigged this lottery, and they've done it right under our noses, right in front of our faces.
They've done it. I want to play you this clip of LeBron James that people are now recirculating. This is him on the Pat McAfee show talking about how he magically landed in Cleveland. LeBron James grows up in Akron and magically lands through the draft lottery process with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Play the clip.
Listen, man, during the ball drop, during the lottery drop, Cleveland got the number one pick. I just don't think that was. Just,
Whoa, what
a coincidence!
Don't you think?
Wemby with the Spurs.
Oh my God! Let's keep LeBron home. You know what? Patrick Ewing to the Knicks. you know, Derrick Rose to the Bulls. Like, I understand the assignment, guys. I had to make sure that, you know, I had to do my part. I didn't want to be a fuck. I just didn't want to be a man. Like.
All right, so that's LeBron James basically fueling the conspiracy theory. And being a lifelong Indiana Pacer fan, people love to talk about the frozen envelope that delivered Patrick Ewing to the Knicks and not to my Indiana Pacers. I always remember it as the bent envelope. They call it the frozen envelope. I thought there was a bend in the envelope. But these types of conspiracies have been around for a long time. And I'll say this, I don't like it, and certainly as a Pacer fan, I don't like it, but I understand it. It's good business. LeBron playing in Cleveland, good for business. Patrick Ewing with the Knicks, good for business. Cooper Flagg going to Dallas, good for business. I don't have a problem with it.
I don't know, Jason. Like you said, that these kinds of conspiracies have been on. Yes, the Ewing, which you've mentioned, LeBron mentioned. LeBron going to Cleveland, obviously. Derrick Rose, that LeBron mentioned. Also getting Cleveland 2 more #1 overall picks when LeBron had left to go to Miami. The second one coming to help get LeBron back to Cleveland. So, yes, I think there's honestly a long and storied history of the NBA doing this, or allegedly doing this, but I personally I have not seen anything that is just so utterly suspicious that I think you can unequivocally say, yes, they definitively had to have rigged it. Aside this year, like this year is the year where I think it is even crazier than what they've done in the past. There was at least plausible deniability in the past. There's just too many roads leading to the outright rigging of this lottery. And even I would go so far as, look, the Spurs now have the #2 overall pick, which I think they wanted Wembanyama in San Antonio. Now they give the Spurs the 2 and 14. I think maybe they're loading up for a Giannis Antetokounmpo run this summer to try to stack up that Spurs roster around Wembanyama. So there's just a lot of suspiciousness that happened last night in that draft lottery, as far as I'm concerned.
Any chance that the Mavericks, with that #1 overall pick, try to enter the Giannis sweepstakes, or do they stand pat with Cooper Flagg?
Well, Jason, if let's say, hypothetically speaking, this was not rigged, and if we are to believe Nico Harrison that he's trying to line up all the chips and their time frame is right now to win now and to build a championship contender within the next 3 to 5 years, well, Cooper Flagg doesn't really meet that time frame with Kyrie Irving's in his early 30s now. Anthony Davis is in his early 30s. Why do you want an 18-year-old to come in there and try to cede maybe leadership to the team over to him within the next year or two, trying to compete against some of these upper echelon teams in the West? To me, why not go and get a guy in Giannis who's just 30 years old? He maps up perfectly with Kyrie and AD, and not to mention, he would actually fit really well with AD and Kyrie. I mean, you get 2 long, defensive-oriented, athletic bigs there with Kyrie running point. Like, to me, if the BS story Nico Harrison was peddling back at the trade deadline was in fact legit and checks out, then to me, it actually does make all the sense in the world at this point for Dallas to go ahead and pull the trigger and bring in Giannis Antetokounmpo. But we'll see. I don't think that's going to happen.
If you enjoyed that video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe so you never miss a moment of Fearless.